Hey everybody, Richard here with CRG Games, and as promised, this is a follow-up on my original When to Buy Double Masters 2022 singles. So what we've kind of been noticing is, at least that I've noticed, is that cards are following the previous trends. So Imperial Seal, for example, we know that it started out extremely high, and then when it was released, a bunch of the cards entered the market, and then it dropped, rebounded, and now it has kind of been retracing. And pretty much that holds true kind of across the board. Ren and 6, you can see it better in the foil trend line here. The regular trend line, it seems to have bounced off of 70, and now it's holding a little bit below 70. Cavern of Souls, I don't know exactly why this is continuing to rise. It's actually, since the 16th of July, it's pretty much been steady, but I didn't expect it to, rise like this because there are a lot of Cavern of Souls on the market. It's been reprinted, maybe 5 or 6 times now. We can actually check every version of it. I mean, there's a lot of versions of Cavern of Souls. So why it's continuing to move upwards, I'm not 100% certain. It is a very popular card, so that could be why. Dockside has pretty much remained flat. It has not seen a whole lot of price movement. Mana Vault, also flat. We can still see the higher entry price and then these little rebounds here. So it is still following that trend where it's high, low, high, and then a slower, more normal trajectory. Force of Negation, kind of the same thing. High, low, back up, and now it's moving back down. Mana Drain, not quite the same. I don't exactly know what's going on here. It appears that it started relatively low, and then it moved up, and it's just kind of been staying stable. However, it is dropping a little bit. Every day, probably, 50 cents, maybe $1. It's dropping down just a little bit. Kozilek, not much movement here. It's been between 40 and 50 bucks basically the entire time. Right now you can see the listed low is 37 and the last sold is 40. So it's kind of hanging in there. Whether or not that drops, I'm not sure. Kozilek's a very strong card, but realistically, how many people out there are playing Eldrazi? That I don't know. Phyrexian Altar is actually a good example here. It started out relatively high, and it had a pretty big retracement there, probably about 25%, and it's been kind of staying stable here around 40. A lot of these cards, I would expect them to just continue around these levels for quite some time, because before they were at an elevated price, and strong cards will have a floor where they always rest. You could reprint something a million times, and it'll always find a floor, like Phyrexian Arena, for example. It has always had a floor of basically $10 to $20, no matter how many times it's been reprinted. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, high, low, and now everything is, again, kind of in this, stable period. Food Chain, same way. This is actually more extreme example of a drop and then a rise and then now a drop, basically to where it was in the beginning. And then Allosaurus Shepherd has pretty much stayed stable. There's a lot of Allosaurus Shepherds on the market from Jumpstart. This card actually, it's funny, if you go back and you look at the Jumpstart version of it, at one time, this card was extremely expensive, and I actually pulled 2 of them early on, and I held on to them around the $90, $100 mark, and then they hit $150, and I didn't sell them. I should have, because they've only dropped since then, because there's a near limitless supply of Jumpstart on the market. But Allosaurus Shepherd has been holding pretty strong. If we look at original Double Masters, we can see this area again. We're still in this area here, and we're probably right here in the first, like the first month. There's a little bit of, high price drop, and then we're in this section here where things are kind of moving about, trying to find an agreement on price in the market. Doubling season here followed the same thing. We're in this period. We could see this here. We might not. Mox Opal, kind of the same thing, although not as pronounced. And Blightsteel Colossus, if we zoom back out, zoom back in, we'll see it also had a little bit of a choppy period here, and then it's kind of stayed stable for a little while until inevitably it has risen in price. Now, if we look at the sealed product, the draft booster boxes, still at $338. There's still a lot of product moving. The volume is still very high. You're looking at several thousands of dollars per day of sealed boxes moving at this $338 price point. So the market has agreed that these boxes are worth about this level. This will inevitably trend upwards. It's impossible to tell when, but at a certain point, we have 60 listings here, and a lot of these people have a decent amount of boxes, 32 boxes there, 13 boxes, 20 boxes, and not everybody lists all of their inventory all at once. So this guy here apparently has 155 boxes, but this rating scares me a little bit. Amazing Discoveries, these guys usually have a lot of product. They've got 103 still, and that's only page 1. Yeah, so page 2, we're looking at the guys that are waiting for future value. So these will likely be here for a while. Then if we look at the collector boxes, these are the complete opposite of the draft. So they started relatively low, and they never really hit less than $250. Keep in mind, right around this area was release. So this is pre-sale, and then release, it exploded. Once you have a rise, you need to have a run. And basically that's a consolidation period. Right here is a consolidation period, and what you can see is now we're hitting back up to previous highs. So one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to break the previous high because there's lower supply and it's going to rise in value, or it's going to get rejected because more supply will enter the market and there won't be as many buyers to absorb that increased inventory. So what you'll see is it'll fall. And just like in the stock market, what it'll probably do is find a support level, probably around this area, $310 or so. Buyers will step in, and then they will wipe that supply out, and then it could move up to another leg higher. In the long run, the value per pack is so high, really the sky's the limit. But, $1,000 is a pretty big number, but I could see these hitting $1,000 at some point in the future, and that's key because we don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know exactly how much inventory is out there. Reddit, I just saw today that it looks like Amazon pre-orders are finally shipping. Where that inventory came from or where it was, nobody knows, but that's going to be more product entering the market, and a lot of those pre-orders, if I remember right, were in that $250 range. So it stands to reason that people are going to be getting their inventory in, and then they're going to be selling it on TCG Player. Even with fees, they can still turn a little bit of a profit, so it's really anybody's guess. You can see that there's a decent amount of listings similar to the draft booster boxes at 60, although the quantities that people have is much smaller. I mean, we got a couple sellers there with 20 or so, and then we've got Amazing Discoveries here with 113. And likely what this is these guys have a predetermined level at which they need to sell to turn a certain profit on this product, and this could be what that level is. It likely won't go any less than that. And then on our second page, we're probably going to see, these are the guys that are waiting for future value. Now, it's interesting, though, these are relatively new sellers. It might have just been people that bought some product early and they can afford to sit on it. You see that a lot with high-value products. And then you have all the brick and mortars here that are buying from distributors. They're actually running a business and all that good stuff. Not to say the other guys aren't, but this is just a different type of business. So going forward, what we can probably expect, let's look at Mana Crypt again. Right now, we're in this consolidation period where inventory on the market is just kind of chopping around a little bit. A lot of the original buyers have already bought their products that they need. So I would expect things now are going to be more or less kind of trickling out. Speculators are going to be buying their products. I know I am. But I'm not spending a ton of money on it right now because if we get to this point, there's going to be a decent amount of time to pick up deals at better values. And if you're looking for singles, keep your eye on the market. You're probably, I would think, going to see further retracements as the new sets come out. People will be selling off their singles to purchase Dominaria United. And of course, they're going to crack those as well, flip the inventory, and the whole process repeats itself. In that meantime, you need to be looking backwards at the singles from the previous sets because, again, what we're probably going to see is a further retracement. Now, I don't know how much that'll be. It could only be, 10, 15, maybe 20%, but that's significant in the long term when you're looking at these future gains here. So, hope you guys learned something. Hope this helped you. If you got any questions, you can put them in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, then, downvote the video. I would appreciate if you do find this helpful. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I will continue, putting content out here. And also just want to say something real quick. I don't know why the Oloro video blew up so much. I mean, it's a fun deck, I guess, and it's got that non-conditional win con, or non-traditional win con, but I remember yesterday I was sitting at work and I saw that, I had like thousands of views and I was like, what the heck is going on here? So, of course, I started replying to everybody and all that stuff. So, I've actually got another deck in the works, one that I've wanted to build for a long time. It's Jolene, the Plunder Queen. And really, Jolene is just a freaking cool card. Let me pull her up here real quick. So, I've got the extended art that I'm going to be building. And now she does come in a pre-con. So, she's not super expensive, but her ability is just really good. It allows you to sack treasures. You can make more treasures, and then, of course, it kind of helps you when other people attack your opponents and stuff. So it's definitely very rampy, and it's Jolene. I mean, look at her. She's got the freaking, the gauntlet of power on right there. So I love this card. I'm going to be building this deck. I'm like probably 30% complete, so that video will be coming out here soon. But yeah, I'll end it here. Again, please subscribe if you're not already. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. And throw a comment down below. Until next time, I'll catch you later.